Okay, boys and girls, I'm so sorry that I cannot be there with you, but you are in good hands with Miss Bridges. What we're going to do today is we are going to finish our portraits. Remember last week we did a portrait of a friend. It should have your friend's name at the top. Miss Bridges is going to hand back these to you, and then we are going to paint them, but we're going to use a little bit of a different tool today to paint. We're going to use markers to paint, okay? And I'm very limited because I'm at my house. I don't have all the fancy colors y'all have, and my paintbrush is not very fancy either. You will be using the green paint brushes that are in the middle of your tables, and you will have some water at your tables. Miss Bridges will have the doggy dishes at your tables for you to use too. Okay, so she's going to hand these back to you. They are in the shelves over by the cubbies, labeled by teacher. Their name and number should be on the back. You can pause it right now while you hand these back. When you get yours back, go ahead and go to a table, and then I'll show you what we're going to do. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to use all the markers first before we touch the water. All right, you can't really see my water. There it is. Before you touch the water, we're going to be using the markers. These are called washable markers. So that means if you get them wet, they will bleed, which just means they move around a little bit, okay? So we're going to use that to paint our portraits. So what you're going to do is you're going to pick a color, and you're not going to paint the whole space. Like if I wanted to paint my ears here, I'm not going to paint the whole, or I'm not going to color the whole space. What I'm going to do is color around the inside like this, okay? And when just a minute, when I use the water to paint with these markers, it will make this pink bleed, and it will get this inside space. I'm going to do the same thing on the lips. Okay? You want to leave some white here, okay? Now, I'm going to do the whole face one color. Because this face is so big, I'm going to have to make my lines a little bit thicker. Hopefully these crazy art, I think they're washable too. A little bit thicker because I've got a bigger space to color, but I'm still going to just go around the outside of it with that marker and make a thick line. And your lines here are thicker because you guys use bingo dabbers. I did not have a bingo dabber at my house, so I just used a permanent marker. But you're doing the same thing. Okay? So I went around the outside of whatever I'm going to paint. Whatever I want to fill in, I will go around the outside and make a really nice line like that. And I'm leaving all this white in here because in just a minute I'm going to use water to make this marker bleed onto the face. Okay, let's see. I'm going to do her hair. I'm going to do the same way. I'm going to make a thick line around the inside with the marker, and I'm going to go on this side too and around this. I'm just following this black line of her hair that I made earlier. My markers aren't very good. Okay, and so then in just a minute all this space will be blue. Let's try this side. I'm gonna do this side red, and you can do whatever colors you want. Remember we talked about last week, we're basing this on Todd Parr's book. It's okay to be different, and he does all his people in his book different colors, really bright colors. When you do this with markers, the lighter colors don't work as well, like the light pink, the yellow, the light green. You're gonna probably want to pick these darker colors like red, blue. The regular green works really good. Orange works really good too. Okay, so I'm doing all of my lines first before I get the water out. I might go ahead and trace over around the inside here. Let me see. I have a Crayola one. Crayola is probably gonna work better than that crazy art. just so I have some more ink for in the middle of the face here. Okay, so we're just gonna focus on just the head. If you have time afterwards, you can get markers and decorate the outside, but let's just focus on the face right now. Okay, after you've gotten all the markers done on the face, you've outlined every part of the face with a thick line. Now it has to be thick, okay? Don't make me a line that looks like this, because this right here is not enough, okay? It would have to be a lot thicker in order to bleed and fill in that white space. All right, so after you get done with that, what you're gonna do is you're gonna get your paintbrush wet, and then you are going to put it on that marker, and that marker will bleed into the white space. Do you see how that marker is bleeding? Now, I don't have as good a paper as you guys are gonna have, so yours will probably work a lot better. But do you see how that blue is bleeding over? And I'm actually using it to paint the inside of the hair. And you're gonna do that all over the face and the hair. And I'm just using water. That marker's just bleeding because it's washable. So now it's kind of hard to see. And like I said, my paper's not that great. Yours will look a lot better than mine. And you'll do the same thing over here. Make the red, get it wet, make it bleed over into the hair. And it will turn the paper red, okay? Mine's not working that great. I think it's my paper. I'm using construction paper. You guys are using watercolor paper, so it'll work really good. The most important thing is that you get that line nice and thick so you have enough marker to make it, get it wet and make it bleed, okay? All right, and then if you get done with that, you can decorate the outside with markers however you want to. Just be careful, do not put a marker where the paper is wet. It will ruin the markers, okay? But you shouldn't have all this wet because you're just doing the inside. All right, have fun, boys and girls. Do your best.